Alright, so the Canadian GP's around the corner, and we also have the 24 Hours of Le Mans this weekend, so I know I'll be very busy the coming few days. Anyway, back to F1. Let's talk about the Grand Prix that never fails to deliver. You know, the one with the Wall of Champions, or 2011 with 7 pit stops. Jensen coming from Place to first. Yep, Canada holds the record for the longest F1 race, but this year, oh boy, the drama is already brewing. Let's not forget that spicy Max vs George moment in Spain. Lap 60, elbows out, Max yeeting George off the racing line like, this apex is mine now. And the post-race vibes? Frostier than a Montreal morning. George threw shade, Max didn't hold back, and now we're heading straight to a track where last year, they literally set the exact same qualifying time. Yep, same, to the 1000th. So tell me that rivalry isn't peaking at the right moment. Meanwhile, Ferrari fans can finally breathe for once. Charles Leclerc back on the podium in Barcelona, and with actual race pace. Not a tire gamble, not a strategy miracle, just raw performance. Can they keep it going on a low downforce street circuit? Maybe. But also, it's Ferrari, so you never really know. Let's keep the fire extinguisher nearby just in case. McLaren? Lando and Oscar both still in that zone where they could win or bin it, depending on the wind direction. As for Fernando Alonso, he finally scored his first point of the season. It took half the year, but hey, we take those. So yeah, Montreal's locked and loaded to deliver yet another Grand Prix filled with wild strategy calls, slippery curbs, and a few passive-aggressive radio messages. At a chance of rain, a potential safety car or two, and a still very angry George Russell, and this race might just give us the chaos we all secretly live for. So get ready, folks. This is your Canadian Grand Prix preview. Let's talk about the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. This track is 4.361 kilometers of chaos, with 14 corners that feel like a mashup of a proper street circuit and an actual racetrack. It's been around since 1978, which makes it one of the old-school beasts in the calendar. And unlike some of the newer Tilkodromes, this place actually knows how to deliver drama. You've got 2 DRS zones, one baby size between turns 7 and 8, which is more of a teaser than an actual overtake spot. And then the second one, oh, that one's different. It basically starts halfway through the lap and doesn't end until you nearly kiss the Wall of Champions at the final chicane. Turn 11 to turn 2. Yeah, DRS that lasts longer than most F1 driver contracts. But before you think, yes, free overtakes galore, let me remind you that there's a high chance of lockups, wing fragments, and broken dreams, especially at that last chicane. The moment someone tries a late break dive bomb there, just cue the safety car. And don't even get me started on the pit entry. It looks like it was designed by someone who actively hates race strategists. One tiny mistake on entry or exit, and you're suddenly doing donuts in the Wall of Champions Club. But hey, that's why we love Canada. It punishes mistakes brutally, but rewards boldness. It's low downforce, meaning straight linear speed matters, and that's good news for teams like Red Bull and McLaren. But you also need good traction out of those slow chicanes, which means Ferrari might actually be decent here. And Aston Martin, well, they'll try their best. The thing is, it's not just about pure pace at this track. It's about survival, tire management, and not being the one who blinks first under pressure. Montreal always throws up a surprise or two. One random rain shower, one mistimed pit stop, and the whole race turns upside down. Alright, now let's get into the juicy stuff. The storylines that'll either blow up our weekend or quietly fizzle into meh territory depending on how the racing gods are feeling. First up, the main event, the headliner, the pay-per-view Italy beef. Max Verstappen versus George Russell. Yes, the clash from Barcelona is still fresh in everyone's mind. Wheel banging, post-race side-eye, the vibes are tense, and the body language, awkward. The big question is, are we getting round 2 in Montreal? Because if they end up side by side again, especially down that massive back straight, someone might be skipping press duties with a broken end plate. Will one of them de-escalate? Maybe. But knowing Max, if he sees a gap, he's still going for it. And George? He's not exactly been Mr. Yield this season either. So yeah, keep your popcorn ready. Then we've got Ferrari, who might finally be cooking something real. Charles Leclerc showed genuine pace in Barcelona and grabbed the podium like it was 2019 again. The SF25 looked planted, especially on long runs. And while strategy is still Ferrari's favorite enemy, they managed not to throw the race for once. That's progress. But the big question is this a real comeback or just a lucky high before another reality check? Canada's track demands good traction and straight line efficiency. Two things Ferrari don't always bring to the table on the same day. So are they back, or are they about to get lapped by McLarens while trying to figure out tyre deck? Speaking of surprises, let's not forget that Lance Stroll is racing on home soil, and history tells us that once per season, usually here in Canada, Lance turns into the reincarnation of Senna for one qualifying session or one chaotic race stint. It's almost like the spirit of Montreal itself gives him +10 performance and -10 consistency, but who's counting? It's always fun to watch because you never know, is he going to finish P5 out of nowhere or accidentally forget the track map by turn 6? Either way, at least there will be drama. Now here's one I'm weirdly hyped for. Williams. Yes, you heard me. The same Williams team that's mostly been chilling in the lower midfield is now suddenly getting spicy. They've been hovering dangerously close to the top 5 on race pace, and with Albon in the mix, you never know when they'll pull a strategy masterclass out of nowhere. The car's straight-liner speed could suit Canada well, and if things go sideways up front, don't be shocked if there's a sneaky Williams in the top 6. And finally, the McLaren situation. Let's talk about that for a second. Everyone was waiting to see if the new flexi-wing regulations would nerf them in Spain, and well, spoiler alert, nothing changed at all. The Papaya squad came in like it was business as usual, and honestly, that might be scarier than if they had been hit by the regs. They didn't just survive the changes, they thrived. Oscar on pole, Lando right up there, and both looking like genuine threats every weekend now. No smoke, no mirrors, just raw pace and a car that doesn't seem to care what FIA regulation you throw at it. Alright, time for everyone's favorite part where I pretend to have a crystal ball, make bold predictions, and then immediately get proven wrong by turn 3 on Sunday. But hey, it's tradition. Let's get into it. Qualifying predictions first. I'm calling it now. Oscar Piastri on pole. After that insane showing in Spain, where he casually parked himself on the front row like it was his reserved seat, I think Oscar is feeling it. The confidence is up, the pace is there, and let's not forget, Canada rewards drivers who are calm, precise, and not afraid to flirt with the walls. Basically everything Oscar's been nailing lately. Now, for the next 2 spots, I'm going to say Max Verstappen for P2 and Lando Norris for P3. Look, Max had a weird one in Spain, but Max doesn't stay down for long. If there's one thing we've learned since 2021, it's that Max Verstappen takes personal offense to not being on pole. I think he's going to show up with a vengeance this weekend, maybe a few wheel bangs less with George this time, and lock in a front row star. Lando, meanwhile, will definitely be in the fight, but I just have a gut feeling Max is going to pip him. Race day? Oh, now it gets good, because there's a high chance of rain this weekend, and you know what that means. The Verstappen rain demon is about to be summoned. If it gets wet, the guy turns into Aquaman when there's moisture in the air. So yeah, my prediction, Max wins. Maybe not by 20 seconds like peak 2023 domination, but I'd put money on him getting the job done in any wet, dry, wet chaos Montreal throws at us. Behind him, I'm thinking a proper McLaren civil war between Oscar and Lando. These two have been super respectful so far, but how long can that last when they both know they're in the fastest car on certain weekends? If they're side by side going into the wall of champion chicane at any point, I'm muting the commentary and just watching with my fingers crossed. Now let's get into the dark horses. And for me, the top one's gotta be Lewis Hamilton. Yep, the same Hamilton who's now rocking the red suit at Ferrari. And guess what? Canada is kind of his thing. This man won his first ever race here in 2007. He's won 7 times at this track. He probably still knows every crack in the asphalt and which marshal gives the best post-race fist bump. Combine that with the SF25 suddenly looking halfway decent again, and yeah, I think Lewis might just pull something special out. Maybe even a podium. You heard it here first. And honestly, Canada's just one of those races you look forward to no matter what. You've got a track that rewards skill but punishes overconfidence, a layout that encourages mistakes and chaos, and weather that changes more than Ferrari's strategy board mid-race. Add in all the tension from the last few weeks, George versus Max, McLaren's rise, Ferrari teasing a comeback, and Alonso scoring points for the first time all season like we're in a weird alternate reality, and you've got the perfect recipe for some drama. Will we get a clean race? Probably not. Will something weird happen on lap 1? Very likely. And are we going to leave Sunday with more questions than answers? Always. That's the beauty of F1 in Canada. You never know what you're going to get. Just that it'll be memorable, it'll be spicy, and someone's definitely ending their race in the Wall of Champions.